You need a thumbnail at the beginning of every YouTube video, right? And how often do we get these wrong? How often do we try so hard to get it right that really we're just caught up in perfectionism instead of letting an image simply do its job? Artists and visuals, right? It's our superpower, and sometimes it's also our trap. We need graphics, we need visuals to sell our workshops, to sell a product, a design, a pattern, anything that you've created. People need to see it. But how many of us have spent hours and hours and hours down the Canva or Photoshop rabbit hole, right? We want it to be so perfect that we take time away from doing what we actually love to do, making the actual art, right? So, superpower and our trap. Let's talk about that today. This is Creatives on Camera. I'm your host, Lyric Montgomery Kinard, coming to you from the Academy for Virtual Teaching, where that's what we do. We learn video and software tech so that we can teach people out in the world either how to do the lovely skills, the crafts, the art that we have developed the skills for, or we might be shop owners who are serving creative clients. So let's talk about graphics. Let's talk about images. We use them for social media. We use them on our websites. You need a thumbnail at the beginning of every YouTube video, right? And how often do we get these wrong? How often do we try so hard to get it right that really we're just caught up in perfectionism instead of letting an image simply do its job? I'll admit it. I can go down the Canva rabbit hole for hours. I'm comfortable on screen. I don't mind making video. And as soon as I have to think about, I need the perfect graphic for the cover of this new course or video, I kind of get stuck because I want it to be great. I care about it so much. I want it to look amazing. So it could be hours in Canva. Now, once I learned to ask one simple question, things got so much more efficient and easy for me. So the question is, and the one that we often don't ask ourselves, what one thing does this image need to do? Once you ask that and understand the question, then that perfectionism kind of disguised as design work can go away. All the font tweaking and the color obsessing and the never actually getting a thing done because you're stuck on this one thing, that goes away. Our creative energy is not infinite. Our time is the most valuable thing we have, and it's the one thing, it's a resource that goes away and never comes back after it's gone. So protecting that energy and protecting our time so that we can do the things that are truly important to our businesses, that is really important. So we want to spend time on our work, not on our thumbnails. Now, I'm not saying that good images don't matter, because they absolutely do. Just not so much in the way we think. It's not about the perfection of the right colors, the right fonts, the perfect shot and how everything's arranged on one graphic. It is about what is the one single job that this image needs to do right now. One job, not 5, not 3, just one job. So when you know the job of the image that you are getting ready to create, whether it is a course card, the graphic that will represent that course every time somebody sees it, whether it's a storytelling series of images for Instagram carousels, whether it's a thumbnail for a YouTube video, or whether it is a small, quick image that's going to be on the page with 8 other images, all advertising different classes. Each one of those images in a different place has a different job to do. And when you know that job, the decisions you make kind of become obvious. So there's a hierarchy of purposes for different images. And let's walk through each level. So the first image that we'll talk about is the stop the scroll. The job of that image is that and nothing else. That is when somebody randomly comes across your Instagram feed or your Facebook feed, and they're not really looking precisely for you or precisely for something you are offering. So the first image we're going to talk about is the stop the scroll. That's the job of that image. It's nothing else. It's somebody who's scrolling Instagram and randomly comes across your feed. It's somebody who is not looking, not searching for exactly what you have to offer. They're being entertained, and your image randomly comes up for them. They might follow you, yeah, sure. But what is going to get them to stop scrolling and zero in for a minute? What is interesting about that? Often it's something bright, something high contrast. If it's a movie or a video, right, it moves a little bit. And that's all that image has to do is stop the scroll. If it's an image that goes along with a course you're promoting or a product you're promoting, that image does not have to tell any kind of story. All it has to do is slow somebody down long enough that they read or click or swipe through to the next image. It has to be compelling. The second image in the hierarchy is the one that pulls them in. It's a bridge from, look at this pretty thing, and they take an action, and now they're curious. So it pulls them in to the click. It pulls them in so they keep reading the story, right? Images are the same as headlines on a sales page, right? Every headline on a sales page, every piece of copy's job is not only to educate, but to keep you going to read the rest of the copy. So that second image is a bridge from being curious to being interested. Now, the deeper images teach and tell. So they're the ones that have detail, that show some of the process, that give proof of what it is you want to teach or show or educate about, right? Where would you find that? If I have a website and I have a course, that stop the scroll might be for an ad or for social media. The second image might be on the landing page of the course itself. It might show them a little bit more along with words to pull them in and help them be interested in what I have to offer. And once they click, that teaching image is the one that tells the whole story of what they're going to get in the class. You know, either they click through or they scroll down the page, and that next image says, this is more about what you're going to learn. So for instance, if I was teaching a course on sewing a beautiful summer top, right? First image might be a close-up of somebody wearing the top, and I would make sure it was as clear, high contrast, bright as possible. And then the next image might be the full person wearing the top. And there might be, if it's a summer top, it might show how hot it is outside and how loose and comfortable this top is, right? It gives them a little more curiosity. And then the teaching image might be somebody cutting out the pattern for the top or sewing it together. So people would understand this is what it is and this is what you're going to learn. So where each of these images live, their final destination helps you understand what the answer is to the question of what is this image going to do? Now, you often can't control how big the image is or where it appears, right? If it's on Instagram or Facebook, somebody might be on their computer. More likely, they're on their phone and they're seeing something small. So if you have an image that has a lot of detail in it, they're not going to see all that detail. And a lot of detail or a lot of words are just going to get lost. So if it's going to live on social media, you want to keep it super simple. Now, if it's a YouTube thumbnail, they might again be on, but most often they are going to be on a phone. And when we say YouTube thumbnail, let's look at it the size of an actual thumbnail, tiny, right? When you search things on YouTube, it often will bring up a list of little thumbnails, and you scroll through, and the first thing you do is look at those visuals to see which one of those videos are going to actually show you the thing you want to know. So that is another stop the scroll. Bring them in. Build a little bit of curiosity. Again, it needs to be just compelling enough to click, and it's going to be small. I mentioned, what if you are teaching for a conference and they ask you to send in photos of your workshop or a headshot even, right? And when people log in to sign up for classes in the conference, they see a whole bunch of photos and a whole bunch of headshots. Those images, you want to capture attention. It's another kind of stop the scroll, right? So if it's a headshot, how much clutter is there around it? What is the expression on your face telling them that they're going to experience when they are with you? If it's a workshop thumbnail, it honestly does not need to show the whole project. It needs to be bright, high contrast, clear, compelling. It's simply the eye candy. And again, we really have no control over how big they are seeing it. So keep that one super simple. So a Instagram carousel or a Facebook image, it might be a little bit bigger. You can overlay a few images. They might be scrolling through several images, right? But keep the words really legible, really simple if you have them there. Pinterest is kind of like YouTube. It's also a search engine. People buy stuff off of Pinterest all the time. So a still image on Pinterest is going to be more like a poster. You need words, but not a million of them. Text overlays are pretty important, but remember, it's still small. It's mini. Again, on a social feed, people are only paying half attention. Every image that people come across is your opportunity to make a first impression. Now, once they have clicked through a link, if they're looking at the conference page and they click through, hopefully the next page is just your image, just your words. Picture needs to be the bridge to build curiosity. That picture needs to tell some of the story. It doesn't have to be the entire story. If you only get one picture teaching for a conference, go ahead and make it a very clear picture of the whole project and make sure your words explain clearly what it is, right? So if it's on your own web page, you can arrange the pictures and make them as big as you want. But the first thing they see, the above the fold, the top of the screen, if they're on a phone or on a computer, needs to capture their attention and build that curiosity and make them interested enough to scroll down. Okay, we've talked a little bit about the hierarchies. Now, in order to not get stuck in the image making rabbit hole every time we need to create graphics to advertise a course or a product, it helps also to know our formats in advance. So if we know that we are going to make a YouTube tutorial that will lead to a lead magnet, that will also lead to a course landing page, and we're also going to do social media, we are going to need images for all of that. You can use the same images and then reformat them for each place. So if you know where each image is going to land, it's really not hard at all to take one image and create a landscape and a story format and a square format, especially if you use templates. So when I'm creating a new course, I will have a Canva file and I will have all of the different sized images that I need in that file. And I created that by copying and pasting another file that was for the same purpose. So I have a course file and it has a bunch of landscape, like a course card, a video thumbnail, advertisements, the headers for instructional videos, end cards, all of that kind of thing. And then it also has square format, like a logo for the course or the same image. It has all of the different sizes that I will need for that course as a template. And then it's really not hard to copy and paste over all of the imagery from one and then reformat it. In fact, Canva kind of helps you do some magic stuff with that. It's pretty amazing. I have to tell you that I'm a huge Canva fan. I think the pro account is so worth having. In fact, I haven't opened my Adobe Suite for years. Finally gave it up because I do everything in Canva. And that includes like the handouts and the PDFs. They're all in one file. And if you have a system, if you have templates that you use that you can copy and paste, it makes everything so fast. But you know where each size of image is going. You know the job of each image. And so it makes it super easy to stay consistent and use a system and a workflow that helps you get it done super fast so that you have more time for the teaching, so that you have more time with your students, so you have more time for creating your art. For shop owners, my heart goes out because you don't have time for anything. You need all of the efficient workflow systems for this, right? Because you simply don't have time to spend hours in Canva every time you need to make a new graphic. So knowing the theory is one thing, and building the actual templates can be another. So a lot of us have used Canva without any real system behind it. Imagine having Canva open and knowing exactly what to make and why, and being able to be done with the whole process in 20, 30 minutes. I have to say, I never get done in 20, 30 minutes. I, I still get caught up in tweaking all of the small things. So maybe it takes 40 minutes, but that's better than several hours before I started using a workflow. So at the Academy for Virtual Teaching, we have a new course, Canva Made Simple. And not only is it so practical, just all these very short, here's how to do this one thing in Canva tutorials, tons and tons of them, which you could actually find anywhere on YouTube. Right? There are so many excellent how to use Canva courses. The key to this one is that we work through systems. We develop workflows. We have charts and we have the image types and purposes for each kind of thing you do, whether it is building an advertising campaign for a course or a product, whether it is building an actual course, right? So what do you do when it comes to graphics? I would love to hear where you are at with this. What happens when you open Photoshop or Canva and you're getting ready to make your images? Do you ever ask yourself that question? Where do these things go? Now, we have an amazing resource for you. It's a very quick ask yourself these questions about your images checklist. And you can find it in the link that we will put in the show notes and at theacademyforvirtualteaching.com, which is academyforvirtualteaching.com without the. So the course that we offer is evergreen. It's available anytime you are ready to access it. Again, the link is in the show notes. And we also invite you to join the Academy for Virtual Teaching's free membership, where we have a discussion feed and where we have guest seminars and open Zoom roundtables where all of us kind of get together and chat. We talk about what's coming up for us, what wins we've had. We brainstorm solutions to problems. It's such a friendly and wonderful and helpful community of other artists and crafters and creators who are teaching, who are running businesses, who do creative things just like you do to make the world a better place. So, my friend, never stop creating. So, my friend, never stop creating, and leave comments, leave suggestions for who you might want us to talk to, or tell us how you feel about the podcast. Do you have subjects that you want me to cover? And it would mean the absolute world to me if you took a minute and left a review wherever you are listening. Tell your friends about it. We want to share this resource with more people around the world. As always, keep making the world a better place, my friend.